Hey guys, so day 5 PowerPoint, we're going to go through. Hopefully you're watching these PowerPoint videos so you kind of better understand what's going on with your notebook. You don't have anything to hand in, so hopefully you're taking the time to do this. Make sure you are working on that plant project as well. We'll go over the brainstorming page in your notebook on that, okay? So your agenda for day 5. First, we're going to do parts of the seed on page 91, seed dispersal on page 92, plant reproduction cycle on page 93, and then the plant project brainstorming page I'll show you, that's on page 94. So parts of a seed is going to be on page 91. This is the page that you need. Remember, if you don't have the notebook pages already in your notebook, you can find them on Google Classroom in the blank notebook page post. Okay, so we're going to use this page. You'll be filling in the parts of the seed on these lines here, and then you'll color the seed once you're done. Okay, I'll show you a finished copy in my notebook at the end of this part of the PowerPoint. All right, so first, parts of a seed. So the top part there where it looks like a leaf here, okay, is the embryo. This is the developing plant, and it looks like a leaf that's inside of the plant. So it actually looks like a leaf that's inside of the actual seed, which is kind of cool. The center part of the seed stores food or food storage, and then the outside of the seed, you see this outside layer here, that is going to be their seed coat, which is a hard covering that protects the actual seed. Make sure you have all these written down. Remember, if I'm going a little bit too quick, you can always pause the video so that way you can write down what you want. You can put some color into it if you want. I did mine in green and brown. A couple other notes that we need to write. To germinate means to start to grow. So make sure you're writing this note there in the top right corner of your page. And at the top, you're going to write young plants that grow from a seed are called seedlings. So very young plants are called seedlings. This is my finished product. You can look at this and how I did it. This is how I colored my seed. I have the leafy parts on the inside. The outside I did in a darker brown, and the inside I did in like a tannish color. So this is your parts of the seed. You have your developing plant, your stored food, and your seed coat. Seed dispersal on page 92. So we're going to talk about how seeds actually get from one place to another. Seeds don't just, drop and then all of a sudden they're somewhere else. Something has to happen for that seed to get somewhere else. Okay, we have trees all over the place that they come from different spots. We have plants that come from different places. So this is going to explain how they do go from one place to another. So we're going to use this page. You're going to cut out the large box. So this big square here, you're going to cut that out, and you're going to fold along the dotted lines. Okay, so then you're going to glue this square piece. So hopefully you did that already. And we're going to write underneath of each flap. Okay. So the first one is going to be animal. So underneath of the animal flap, you're going to write seeds inside the fruit pass through animals' digestive systems. So if an animal eats a piece of fruit that has a seed in it, the seed then goes into the digestive system of the animal, and then the animal will end up dispersing that seed at the end of their digestive system to wherever they ended up. So say a deer ate a piece of fruit that had a seed in it. Okay, the piece of fruit's going to go through the digestive system of the deer. The deer is then going to migrate or going to move to another location, and then the deer is going to end up, going to the bathroom, and that seed's going to go somewhere. It's going to end up dropping somewhere else, and that seed can turn into a plant. Water. Okay, so water's over here. You're writing it underneath the flap there. Water disperses seeds that fall into oceans and rivers. So if you have, say, a tree that is on a riverbank, and the tree's seeds drop into that riverbank, and then the river water takes the seeds down the river, and then the seeds end up getting washed up onto a piece of land, and then the seeds end up falling into into the ground. The seeds can end up growing from there. Okay, so water taking the seeds from one place to another. Wind is going to be under this flap here, under wind. Okay, disperses light seeds, so lightweight seeds, seeds that don't weigh that much. Some plants eject their seeds. So say a plant ends up dropping a seed by just to drop it. And then the wind, it's super windy that day, and the wind takes the seed and takes it, 100 yards, drops a seed there, and then a new plant grows. Okay. Or some plants actually push seeds out into the air, and that's going to take, the wind's going to take them, and then it's going to be a cycle once again. All right, and then last one, gravity. Okay, right underneath the gravity flap, the pulling force that pulls seeds down to the ground. Okay, for example, I had gone on a trip to the Fort Myers area in Florida, and we were sitting out on the lanai out on the porch by the water, and all of a sudden we hear a thud, right? And we look around and we look up, and there's this tree, and the tree actually had avocados in it. And avocados are like a fruit that has a pit on the inside that is a seed. So because of gravity, that avocado fell to the ground, hit the ground, and imagine if that avocado actually broke open and the seed fell out and dropped, into the ground and somehow was covered, and then a new avocado tree could form from that. Okay. Or if, trees or plants just have seeds that drop from, the tree. Pine trees. The pine cone can drop from the tree, and there you go. All right. So this is how your the inside should look. You can either write on the square piece, or you can write right underneath of that flap, whichever works for you. I did it underneath a square piece, and then I wrote the words once again. So you can see the animals is on the opposite side, animals here. I wrote animals on the inside flap too. Just made it a little bit easier for me to understand. All right, plant reproduction cycle. So this is another flapped page. Use this page for 93. Again, you're going to cut out the large square, going to fold on the ends, and you're going to write underneath of the flaps. So first we're going to talk about pollination. Pollination can occur in some plant or different plants. So pollination can actually happen within one plant, or it can happen with two different plants. So for example, you need to have fruit trees, I believe, you need to have two different types of fruit trees. So you need to have like a male fruit tree and a female fruit tree. So if you want an apple tree, you need to have a pear tree as well. It needs to be able to pollinate each other. Bees help with pollination, right? Bees take the pollen off of plants and they take it to another plant. All right, pollen is transferred from one male part to a female part. Fertilization, pollen joins with the ovule to make seeds. Fertilization, fertilized eggs are called zygotes. So fertilization is the pollen actually joins with the ovule, and then it's fertilized. Make sure you know that fertilized eggs are called zygotes in plants. Dispersal, so that's number 3 that I wrote here. Dispersal, seeds are carried away to new locations. So that's just like what we said in the last section with seed dispersal. Dispersal, it just means that it's carried away to a new location. And then germination, seeds grow into a new plant. We did talk about that in the very first section about the parts of a seed. We did talk about that germination does mean to start to grow. Okay, so start to grow a new plant. Remember, if I'm going too quick, you can pause this video so that way you can write everything down underneath of those flaps. This is how I set up my final notebook. So again, I wrote the words underneath the flaps, and then I wrote the the notes underneath of the flat. Okay, I'm sorry. So, and I actually color coded them so that way I knew that germination went with this one and dispersal went with that one. Okay. All right, last part of the slide that I wanted to go over, your plant project brainstorming. So on page 90 is going to be your page in your notebook that's going to help with brainstorming about your plant project. Your plant project, they did post a couple pictures about what that plant project might look like. Make sure you're looking at the rubric and the explanation pages that I have already posted. So you're going to use this page on your notebook for your plant project. You can draw your plant out. You can write down what you're going to use for each part of the plant, whether it be, straws or pipe cleaners or toothpicks or anything you find at home. Don't procrastinate. You can submit a picture with your labels for your project. You can either submit a picture with your labels or you can video explaining your project without labels. I know that Juliana had asked if we could set up a Zoom meeting that she can present her project via Zoom, where I am okay with that. We'll just have to set up those times for when you guys want to present your project. So you're either going to present your project with labels and a picture or without labels and a video. Okay, use this page for brainstorming, draw it out, write down your materials, and you can be creative with that. Okay. All right, this is the end of the PowerPoint for day 5. If you have any questions, you can always comment on this video or send me an email, and I will get back to you with any questions you might have. All right, I'll see you guys later.